So you know that kid who thought that he could turn into a Super Saiyan and tried to do it on camera and the video went viral? Yeah, that's me after watching this movie. What's up guys, Cam here coming at you with another movie review. Today I'm doing Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Now for those of you who haven't been following my channel for very long, I am a big Dragon Ball Z fan. And so I was really excited to get this movie as soon as it came out on Blu-ray. I had gotten Battle of Gods a couple of months prior, and then I got this, and I thought it was just almost as good. It wasn't quite as high as Battle of Gods was on my scale, but I still adored this movie. And basically what it is Frieza, who was one of the main villains of the Dragon Ball Z series, resurrects himself somehow, and it's up to Goku and Vegeta to figure out how to kill him again. And he comes back stronger than ever, and this movie actually introduces the idea of Frieza doing some training, because he states in the movie that he has never trained a day in his life. There was never a need to. And the idea that he actually does have to push himself to get stronger introduces a new idea to this villain. Now you don't see as many of the characters from Battle of Gods as you do see in this movie, but I think in this movie with the story that they're trying to tell, I feel that less is more. And the first thing I do want to say about this movie is yes, I don't like it quite as much as I liked Battle of Gods, but I still had a great time watching it. And it's mainly because this movie, while the story and characters aren't quite as strong as Battle of Gods, this movie has more action. This movie has more, you know, people beating the crap out of each other and big giant fights and explosions and whatever. It takes a little while to get to the action though. This movie has a little bit of extra baggage on it. Some scenes that don't really feel like they're needed. Some scenes that really could have been left out in the end. But once you get through them and once the action does start, it is non-stop from there. The big fight scenes basically take up the entire second half of the movie. And speaking of the fight scenes, they are executed very well. You can really clearly see everybody's different fighting styles whenever there's these big battles going on. And it's a lot of fun to watch because some characters really get a good time to shine in this movie. While they're not shining against Frieza, they're, you know, fighting his henchmen and whatever, but it still gives them the opportunity to show that they can be badass too, whereas in Battle of Gods, they were just kind of cast away and, you know, your flies, get out of here. But speaking of the characters, I am sorry, but Gohan, what have they done to you, Gohan? What are they doing with your character? You were the best character in the Cell Saga, one of the better characters of the Majin Buu saga, but now in this movie it's just like, what happened? Why would they do that to you? Yes, he is a family man now, but for God's sakes, come on. While I understand that they're trying to put the focus of the new Dragon Ball Z canon back onto Goku and Vegeta, I don't think that they should have done that at the expense of one of the better characters of the series. But that's just one of the few little qualms that I have with this movie. Let's get back to the good things about this movie, mainly the dialogue. The dialogue of this movie is very funny, just like the last movie. There's banter between Beerus and Whis who return in this movie. Granted, there isn't as much of it as before because they're not the major characters of this movie. It's still there, and it's still the same as last time, and it is still funny. There's a lot more banter between Goku and Vegeta too, and that's funny. It really shows that they have a very strong love-hate relationship. The animation, just like Battle of Gods, is still incredible. They still do a great job of seamlessly integrating the CGI shots with the hand-drawn animation shots. And really, it adds a bit more power to these fight scenes. It adds a bit more speed. It adds a bit more cohesiveness. They're not doing the typical Dragon Ball Z trope where they're just looping the same really fast punching and kicking animation over and over again. There is a little bit of that, just a little bit, but it's fleeting. It starts looping the animation maybe 1 or 2 times and then it goes on to something else. And I think that is great. I am glad that they've done that because doing that over and over again in the series really made the fight scenes kind of stale in my opinion. And that's really what you want in this movie. You really want the fight scenes in this movie. Because where Battle of Gods focus more on the characters, Resurrection F focuses more on the battles, on the big fights. And I think that they really did a good job of balancing out the two things. At least across the span of the two movies. In this one, the characters are kind of brought down at the, you know, in favor of the fight scenes, but that's okay because, like I said, this movie is about the fights, the last one was about the characters, and it works. It just works. I do have but one more flaw with this movie, and it's with the ending. The ending leads you to believe that it's going to go a certain way, and you're like, oh my god, this is going to be great, this is going to be awesome. And then it just kind of does something else. It does the typical safe Dragon Ball Z thing, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, cool, I guess. And it just didn't really work for me. I was kind of hoping they weren't going to do that, because the way that the film was leading you to believe it was going to end, I thought was going to be perfect. I thought it was going to really, really, really add to the weight of this movie, but they went the safe route, and it just didn't work for me. But still, I do still love this movie. Not as much as Battle of Gods, but I do still love this movie, so I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Well guys, spoiler alert, just like the last movie, I'll be talking about my top 3 favorite scenes out of this movie. Not top 5, because this movie doesn't quite make it to the average runtime of an hour and a half. It's still about an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm just going to do my top 3 favorite scenes. Starting off with number 3, Goku and Vegeta training with Whis. Now Whis has agreed to train Goku and Vegeta to help them get stronger, and really the first time we see Goku and Vegeta in this movie is when they're training with him on Beerus' planet. And it's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, they're trying their absolute hardest to land just one punch on Whis, just one. But he is effortlessly dodging them, blocking their attacks, and even having little daydreams with himself while they're doing it, just to show how nonchalant it all is to him. And there is some great banter between the characters, a lot of funny lines here and there. And then Beerus shows up, you know, because their noise woke him up from his sleep. He comes out and he sneezes and a planet explodes. I mean, God of Destruction, I just thought that was great. And you do still see the whole, you know, light tap to the neck and they pass out thing. I love that. I love that from the last movie. I love it in this movie. Number 2, the Z Fighters versus Frieza's henchmen. Now I love this scene because it's something you've never really seen before in the Dragon Ball Z series. You have a handful of the Z Fighters. You have Gohan, Krillin, Piccolo, Master Roshi, and Tien, and a new character that they've introduced named Jaco, who are taking on 1,000 of Frieza's henchmen. 1,000 of them. And it's a big, epic fight scene with all of them exhibiting their different martial arts styles and all their different special attacks. And I think it's a lot of fun to watch because there's a lot of speed and adrenaline to this fight. But the main thing that I want to talk about in this scene, besides the fact that it's a lot of fun to watch, is Gohan. Yes, Gohan is a lot weaker in this movie than he has ever been, you know, over the course of the series. But I've analyzed some things and I have deduced that Gohan isn't quite as weak as we think he is. Because the very last guy that was standing of Frieza's henchman is supposedly the strongest one. And he is going toe-to-toe with Piccolo. It looks like they're evenly matched. Which leads me to believe that this guy named Shisami or something like that is as strong, if not a little stronger than Android 17, because we can deduce that Piccolo's probably gotten a bit stronger over the years too. So if he's as strong as Android 17, and Super Saiyan Gohan, for the brief time that he was a Super Saiyan, was able to incapacitate him with one punch, then it's pretty reasonable to assume that Super Saiyan Gohan is at least as strong, if not a bit stronger, than Imperfect Cell at the time just before he absorbed Android 17. So that is still a lot stronger than all the rest of the Z Fighters, and I don't think Gohan's quite as weak as we think he is, but he's still weaker than we've seen him, but still stronger than he could be. So I don't think Gohan deserves all the crap that he's getting for this movie. Just know he's still kind of duh. Number 1. Super Saiyan God Vegeta beats the crap out of Frieza. Yes, Vegeta has the ability now to go Super Saiyan God form, and when he does, Frieza is scared shitless, and he beats the living daylights out of him. And this is where it gets into the ending, because you think that Vegeta is going to destroy Frieza for, you know, blowing up his planet and whatever, but then Frieza blows up the Earth, and then it falls on Goku to destroy Frieza at the end of that. And of course Goku has to be the one to steal Vegeta's spotlight again, but Vegeta still does get kind of a spotlight in this movie, and that's what I love about it. It gives Vegeta the opportunity to beat the crap out of someone without getting the crap beat out of him. Because he was cast aside in Battle of Gods, basically, but in this one he actually has nothing to fear, really. Because he knows he could easily destroy Frieza if he had to. But like I've said in my Battle of Gods review, Vegeta is my favorite character, so seeing the opportunity for him to really come out and beat someone half to death is just, it's so pleasing to me. But I'm really, really hoping that if Akira Toriyama decides to make a new movie for 2016, I really hope that either A, Vegeta gets a chance to shine, to really, really shine in that movie, You know, maybe it'll be a Vegeta-centered movie, which would be awesome. Or B, have Goku and Vegeta actually fight, because we got that in the Majin Buu saga, but Vegeta was under mind control, so it didn't really count, in my opinion. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent there. Just know, I love this movie. If you love Dragon Ball Z, please check out this movie. It is a lot of fun to watch. As always, I will see you in my next review.